Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at a single day in history, May 1, 2026. Now, if you glance at the headlines right now, you might just see 15 completely disconnected global events. But trust me, they are not isolated incidents. What we're actually looking at is a deeply interconnected web of cause and effect. We're talking about a situation where a military maneuver on one side of the globe directly dictates the cost of your groceries on the other.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right now, millions of people across hundreds of cities are out in the streets for a massive May Day protest. And they've got this unified rallying cry: no school, no work, no shopping. It's huge. This global strike is a massive direct pushback against the billionaire class and just the absolutely crushing cost of living, which is being fueled by intense global geopolitical strain. It's really a localized reaction to a massive global problem. So to understand how we got here, we're going to map out this whole ripple effect together. First up, we'll hit the global May Day protests. Second, we're looking at the epicenter of the crisis, the Middle East conflict zones. Third, escalating global security threats. And finally, we'll wrap up with the global human toll. Section 1. Global May Day protests, the economic blackout. So, these street protests, they're the highly visible, undeniable consequences of much larger systemic pressures. Millions of people aren't just out there marching. They're effectively creating a worldwide economic blackout today, May 1st. Organizers have coordinated a massive halt to daily commerce. And it's all driven by that skyrocketing cost of living and just deep, widespread frustration with how the global economy is functioning. And the root cause behind all that economic pain? Well, it boils down to 16%. That is the staggering, completely crippling inflation rate right now in countries like Pakistan. And the data traces this directly back to the ongoing conflict between the US and Iran, which has just sent global oil prices through the roof. This surge isn't just a headache at the gas pump, it's literally paralyzing the delivery of absolutely crucial humanitarian aid worldwide. Section 2. Middle East conflict zones, the epicenter. Let's move to Iran and see how this builds. Because to truly grasp these economic shockwaves, we have to look straight at the volatility in the Middle East. Recent data from the Israeli military indicates they now control roughly 66% of the Gaza Strip. To put that in perspective, that is a highly significant expansion, pushing way beyond the boundaries that were established during the October 2025 ceasefire. And we're seeing the extreme fragility of these regional agreements just to the north, too. Despite an active ceasefire technically being in place, there have been deadly, blatant violations. Just this Friday, Israeli airstrikes hit southern Lebanon, killing at least 4 people. And the situation is so volatile that Lebanon's national news agency reported over 30 deaths in a single day due to the continued hostilities. Now, at the exact same time, the broader conflict between the US and Iran is accelerating at breakneck speed. Back in mid-April, diplomatic tensions essentially hit a brick wall, a total breaking point. By late April, U.S. Central Command reportedly briefed President Trump on potential strategic strike options, which were internally described as final blow maneuvers. And today, May 1st, Senate Republicans blocked the Iran War Powers Resolution for the 6th time. What does that mean? It means the president is left with the capability to carry out military strikes against Iran without explicit congressional authorization. And because of all this immense tension, one of the world's most critical maritime choke points is hanging in the balance. France's top diplomat recently announced that a U.S.-led coalition is currently forming to reopen the highly contested Strait of Hormuz. But here's the wild part. This U.S. mission is running completely parallel to a totally separate initiative spearheaded by France and Britain. You have 2 distinct international military coalitions forming at the exact same time to secure the exact same strategic waterway. Section 3. Escalating global security threats, the shockwaves. You see, when you have this much concentrated regional conflict, it inevitably generates intense security instability across the entire globe. We're seeing those shockwaves hit domestically right now. The UK government just officially elevated its national terror threat level to severe, and that's following the horrific April 29th terrorist attack in Golders Green. Authorities are flat out warning the public that further attacks are deemed highly likely. And that friction, it's truly worldwide. Over in southern Russia, the Tuapse oil refinery was hammered by fresh drone attacks on Friday morning, reigniting massive fires that have plagued that energy facility for days. Meanwhile, in Asia, the UN's political affairs chief gave a really stark briefing to the Security Council, warning them that Pyongyang's continued militarization and ballistic missile development remains a matter of serious concern. So we're seeing global volatility sparking on multiple continents all at once. Section 4. The global human toll, beyond the headlines. So the crucial point is,
Behind every single geopolitical maneuver and economic shift, there's a profound, often devastating human reality. In South Sudan right now, the UN is warning of a catastrophic famine, with over 50% of the population facing severe food shortages. Just incredible numbers. In Sudan, an independent organization of journalists actually just won a UNESCO Press Freedom Prize for doing the incredibly dangerous work of delivering life-saving info right in the middle of a deadly civil war. And looking globally, online violence against women journalists has doubled since 2020, a trend heavily driven by AI-generated harassment tools. We're also facing this really surprising environmental paradox. A brand new UN report dives into the human cost of clean energy. Obviously, the global push for digital tech and green energy is massive, but it requires a staggering amount of critical mineral mining. And this mining, it's causing severe water depletion and deep environmental damage in regions that are already incredibly vulnerable. It just goes to show that even our best, brightest solutions often carry complex, hidden price tags.
yet, amidst all this intense global tension, diplomacy somehow survives in the most unexpected places. Get this. FIFA has officially confirmed that Iran will participate in the 2026 World Cup. Why is that wild? Because the tournament is being hosted by the United States. So, despite actively drafting strategic, final blow military maneuvers against one another, these two nations are still going to lace up their cleats and meet on the global soccer pitch. It is just a fascinating, almost surreal intersection of global geopolitics and sports diplomacy. Which brings us to our final thought. We started this explainer looking at massive global labor strikes driven by the cost of living, right? And we traced that economic pain all the way back through regional wars and global instability. So I want to leave you with this question. With conflicts driving both massive street protests and unprecedented inflation, at what point does the global economic strain force a diplomatic reset? When does the pressure on the everyday person's wallet become the ultimate catalyst for change on the world stage? Definitely something to chew on as you read the headlines today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep asking the big questions.